Me, 34, Senior Product Strategy Director at a flashy budgeting app startup. The kind of company that buys ad spots on every finance podcast and thinks that counts as culture. Live in a glass condo, downtown expensive couch, clean lines plants, I keep alive out of spite. My entire life looks like a brand deck. Everything curated, everything intentional, everything proof that I dragged myself here. One sharp elbow at a time, past a parade of average dudes named Tyler, who failed upward. My politics are not subtle. I'm a feminist. Not the cute slogan coffee mug, kind, the grad seminar, theory stack. Deconstruct the power structure kind. I believe in equity. I believe most male suffering is just their own ego, boomeranging back at them. I believe a lot of traditions are just sexism, in a nicer outfit. My dating history mostly reinforced all of that. There was the indie singer who said, I made him feel emasculated because I earned more than him. The startup bro who insisted mansplaining wasn't real while actively doing it. The painter who literally teared up because I said one of his pieces looked unfinished. After enough of those, I started thinking maybe my destiny was just being a rich single woman with a brutal skincare routine, and an old cat honestly was making peace with it. Then I met Ryan on Hinge 2 years ago. 36 structural engineer. His profile was aggressively normal. No shirtless hiking photo in Peru. No sapiosexual. No weird bio about being fluent in sarcasm. Just a few simple pictures. One of him grinning next to this giant golden retriever. One where he was absolutely wrecked with mud after some obstacle race. Another with his little nephew asleep on his chest. His bio said he was looking for someone to debate the best alien movie with and split a large pizza. On a Wednesday that was... It's so plain, it was almost exotic. Our first date, I came in fully armored, mentally ready to slice him up by drink 2. But he was weirdly hard to fight. He asked about my job, and actually followed what I was saying. Not the fake nod men do, while waiting for their turn to talk, actual listening. Then he told me about designing highway overpasses, how load distribution works, how a good structure can outlive the people who built it and still serve them. He wasn't flexing, he was just genuinely into it. Had this calm, grounded energy, like some big, steady tree in a city full of decorative fake plants. Fast forward 2 years, we're basically fused together. My friends love him even the most. Committed man-haters in my group chat somehow love him. He cooks when I've had a garbage week, lets me rant for an hour about work politics, and just says, yeah, that sounds maddening. Never once acts threatened by me, calls my ambition, my superpower, disgusting behavior. Honestly, a month ago, he proposed not on a mountain, not at a restaurant with sparklers, just on a random Wednesday in our apartment after we finished takeout pizza. He pulled out a ring, simple, clean, and emerald, because he knows I'd never want a diamond, said he sketched it himself. Then got down on one knee in our living room, told me, you've built an amazing life already. I'm not trying to replace any part of it. I just want to add to it. I want to help build the next part with you. Super engineered line, absolutely worked on me. I cried, said yes. Whole thing, then I went into planning mode immediately, not full psycho bride mode, more like efficient operations, manager mode, venue, locked down, photographer, booked custom dress, in progress, with some niche designer from Brooklyn. I was posting those tasteful smug engagement photos on Instagram, captioned one of them. Something nauseating about a union of equals. It did numbers. I felt unbearably pleased with myself. I'd done it, found the one good man, the evolved one, the secure one, the one who could handle a powerful woman without turning into dust. I felt like I'd cracked the code. Then one night, we're on the couch with our laptops. I'm scrolling non-traditional wedding ideas. He's looking at honeymoon spots. I turn my screen and show him an invite design, sleek font, cream paper minimalist layout. Say, what do you think of these? He smiles and says, they're nice, clean, simple, very us. Then I say, I've been thinking about the ceremony wording, like when they announce us for the first time, Olivia Carter and Ryan Bennett. Obviously, I say, obviously because in my head, it is obvious I'm keeping my last name. He nods right away, says, yeah, makes sense then. After a second asks, what about legally though? Are you going to do the paperwork after I actually laugh like baby? No. Then I give him the speech I've basically had prepared since high school. The whole history of women taking men's names is rooted in ownership, coverture transfer from father to husband, All of it. I slip into my very calm educational voice, explain how it's a patriarchal custom, and completely out of line with what I believe, also tell him, my entire career exists under my name, my portfolio, my talks, my bylines, my network, all under Olivia Carter. Changing it would feel like deleting part of myself. He listens, nods, says, yeah, I get that. Tells me he wouldn't ask me to change it. Says he loves my name, says he loves me. And I feel this huge wash of relief. Of course, see, this is why he's different. This is why we're good. So, while we're already on the subject, I decide to just clear the rest of it. Too close. My laptop, take a sip of wine. Say, and obviously when we have kids they'll have my last name too. I say it lightly like it's just another scheduling detail, and then the room goes dead quiet. His smile disappears, not replaced by anger, just gone. His face turns blank in this way that instantly makes me uneasy. He stares ahead for a couple seconds, finally turns to me and just says, what, not hostile, just genuinely thrown. I say, the kids, they'd be Carters. It just makes sense if we're already not doing the whole wife takes husband's name thing. Then why would I suddenly make an exception? For future children, keeps the family line consistent. That's how I frame it. He blinks slowly, asks if I'm serious. I laugh a little, say, of course I'm serious. Why wouldn't I be? He rubs his face, says, Liv, I guess I just always assumed my kids would have my last name, and I actually scoff, couldn't help it. The word assume just hits me wrong. I go, assumed? Why would you assume that? He says. Because that's just how it's usually done. Quiet voice, already defensive, and something in me hardens. He says it's his family name, his dad's, his grandfather's, that it matters to him, that he wants to share that with his children. And I fire right back that my name is my family name too. Why does his automatically outrank mine? Because he's a man, because history defaulted in his favor. Why does he get first priority just for being born with the correct chromosome? The room temperature drops like 20 degrees, he says. That's not what he's saying, says. We could hyphenate Carter Bennett, Bennett Carter, whatever. Says he doesn't care about the order. And I reject that. Immediately say, hyphenating is a bureaucratic mess. It looks clunky, it breaks forms, it's passing the problem down a generation. What happens when our kid marries another person with a double last name? Are we building a train car of surnames? So, no, not doing that. Then he says, so your answer is just to cut my name out completely, and there's actual hurt in his voice. Now, real hurt, which for some reason just makes me more irritated. Like now I'm being forced to comfort him for not getting his patriarchal inheritance fantasy. So I say, don't be dramatic, Ryan. It's not like I'd be erasing you. You'd still be their father. People would know that. He goes, a name is just a name to you. To me, it isn't. And then for the first time in 2 years, he actually raises his voice. Not screaming, but enough that it cuts right through me. He says, it's his father's name, his grandfather's too. Says his granddad built a contracting business from nothing, with that name painted on the side of a truck. Says his dad spent his whole life trying to make that name mean something. Good says, it ties him to them, and that one day, it would have tied him to his kids too. I just sit there staring at him, because in my head, what he's saying translates instantly into old-school patriarchal ownership. Garbage. So I go, cold ask him if what he's really saying is that his male bloodline matters more than me, more than the mother of those kids sharing a name with them. Tell him this is about legacy, about ego. He snaps back that it has nothing to do with ego, gets up and starts pacing the living room, says it's about family, about feeling like a unit, then asks why it's empowering when I want the kids to have my name, but suddenly a character flaw when he wants them to have his. So now I'm up too, adrenaline fully online. I tell him because the whole system already bends in his direction. He gets the default without even thinking about it. Centuries of society are already backing his side. Me wanting our kids to have, my name is pushing back. Him wanting his is just riding inherited privilege and calling it normal. He stops and looks at me like I turned into a stranger in front of him, tells me I cannot possibly be this blind. Says I can't really believe his feelings stop mattering just because some larger system exists. Says these are his feelings, our family we're talking about, not some classroom argument, and that just pours gasoline on me. I tell him I can't believe I ever thought he was different. Tell him I thought he was secure, thought he actually believed in feminism, but apparently the second his symbolic male entitlement gets touched, he folds exactly like all the others call it a tantrum. He just stops, the anger on his face drains out completely, and what's left is this heavy, tired sadness. He says, "Wow," so quietly, it almost doesn't register. Then he turns, walks into the bedroom, closes the door, and leaves me in the living room, shaking with righteous fury. I sleep on the couch that night, still angry, but also weirdly satisfied, like finally there. It is the real guy underneath the nice guy packaging. The mask slipped, I was right. They're all the same. Eventually, immediately take it to my private group chat. Drop something, like, "You are not going to believe the patriarchal nonsense Ryan just pulled." My friends respond exactly how I need them to dump him. Fragile male ego. Stand firm, do not compromise. I soak it up, feel fortified, like the universe itself. Stamped approved on my side of the fight. Then the next week is absolute misery. We move around the apartment, like ghosts barely see each other, don't speak. He takes the bedroom, I keep the couch. He leaves early. I hear the door close before I even get up. I usually pretend to be asleep. When he comes home, the whole apartment feels electrically tense, every room full of silence and resentment. I keep waiting for him to crack to come, sit me down, say he overreacted, say I was right, say my analysis was fair, and he just needed to work through his conditioning. I'm literally writing the future reconciliation post in my head. Some polished line about how we faced our first real challenge and came out stronger. But he never cracks, he just gets quieter, sadder, more distant, which is somehow worse. Saturday comes, exactly 1 week after the blow-up. I'm at the kitchen island scrolling my phone, making a point of ignoring him while he makes coffee. He walks over and sets a mug in front of me. His bean's the expensive local roast he always buys. Says my name, voice calm, too. Calm says, "We need to talk." I don't even look up. Tell him I've already said everything I need to say. He asks me to please put the phone down. I do this dramatic sigh, lock the screen, turn toward him, ask if he's finally ready to apologize for acting like a caveman. He doesn't bite at all, just looks tired, says he's not going to argue about the last name thing anymore, says I was right about one part, that the conversation made him realize something, and immediately I'm thinking, here it comes, victory lap. I lean back a little, probably looking smug as hell. Ask what exactly. He realized, he pulls out the chair across from me and sits, says the name was never really the main issue, says the real problem is that there is no us, says there's me, and then there's him, as some accessory. I'm trying to slot into the life I already designed. It hits me like a slap. I ask what the hell that's supposed to mean. He says it means I don't actually want a partner. I want an audience, a supporter, a +1, somebody agreeable who nods along with the world I've already arranged in my head. And the second he has a want or feeling that doesn't fit the architecture, I label it suspect and expect him to fix it. I open my mouth to argue and nothing comes out. He keeps going, says he loves my strength, my drive, all of it. That's what he fell for. But he thought we were building something together. And building something together means both people show up with materials, means compromise, means making a new blueprint that works for both people. He says what I really want is a life I designed by myself, and I just want him to move into it and feel lucky. He got admitted, then he leans forward and starts listing examples, says it's not just the name, asks if I remember when we were house hunting online, and he showed me that place outside the city, big yard room for a dog, quiet street, and I said, I'd rather die than live somewhere whose biggest cultural event was a yogurt festival. I physically flinch because I remember saying it. I thought it was funny. Asks if I remember when his family invited us to Christmas Eve service and I refused because I don't support organized religion, even though I knew. It mattered a lot to his mom. My stomach knots up. Then he brings up the woodworking class, the one he's mentioned for 6 months, the Tuesday night class, and how I shot it down. Because Tuesday was our pizza night, our tradition. The tradition I basically declared into existence and then treated like sacred law. Every example lands like a tiny cut. And I have a justification for everyone. My work is in the city. Religion does harm, quality time matters, but hearing them stacked like that, they stop sounding principled and start sounding selfish. His voice gets thick, not loud, just full. He says he's not asking me to become somebody else, but marriage family, that isn't a contest. You win. It's a team you're supposed to join. And he says, I'm not a team player, that I want to be the star, the coach, and the ref at the same time, and I'm always keeping score. I just sit there staring at him. My mind feels like static. All the clean arguments, all the theory, all the certainty, suddenly none. It feels solid. He says the name fight was just the last test. He told me clearly how much it mattered to him, showed me he was hurting, and instead of seeing my partner in pain, I saw a bad belief system. I needed to correct an opponent to beat. Then he says, I called him names and went to my friends for backup. So he knew either he saw enough on my phone or he just knows me, that while he takes a breath, gets himself back under control, then says he loves me, and hearing that in that moment feels like getting something ripped out of my chest. But he says he can't do this, cannot build a future with someone who treats his identity like an inconvenience, who sees compromise as losing, says he can't live as a secondary character in his own family. Then he reaches across the table, slowly takes my left hand, and for one stupid second, I think maybe he's just trying to calm me down. Instead, he slides the emerald ring off my finger, sets it down on the countertop between us. The stone catches the light. He says, I can again. And this time, his voice breaks on the last word. Then he stands up, walks into the bedroom, and I stay frozen there, staring at the ring like my brain stopped working. A minute later, I hear drawers opening, hangers moving the zipper of a duffel bag. About 10 minutes after that, he comes out in his coat, carrying 2 bags, dog leash in hand, doesn't look at me, doesn't say anything else, just goes to the door, opens it, leaves, and the sound of the lock clicking behind him is insanely loud in the apartment. So, be me now, sitting in my immaculate glass apartment, with the skyline glowing outside like a screensaver. All those city lights look cold as hell. His coffee is still sitting in front of me, half full, getting colder by the minute the ring is beside it. I look down at my left hand, feels weirdly empty. Then my phone buzzes, Instagram notification. Somebody liked my engagement post, the one about saying yes to a partnership of equals. And I just sit there realizing I won the argument. I held the line, I kept my name, I kept it for me, and for the imaginary kids who are probably never going to exist. Now I still have my name, and I'm sitting there alone,